If you will play from a copy of a tune that is choppy, you'll get all my applause. And that is simply because I want to listen to rhyme.
One of the causes of dental disease is genetics. So certain breeds are more predisposed, like dwarf rabbits and lion heads. And if you look here, see how round and that face is, and the nose is smushed in, and you can see it here as well. And here's a really good comparison of a little dwarf, a Netherland dwarf, and a Flemish giant. He's got that long face, and this is just this little round head. And you can see this lion head is a little bit more of a rounded head as well, and this is a more natural, normal-looking head shape here on this agouti and on this Dutch. They have more normal rabbit heads. This is a lop, and if you see, he kind of looks very boxy. They have a very boxy head, but then also they do have a little bit more of a rounded nose to them. And this is a comparison of a regular-sized rabbit and a dwarf. So you can see that there's quite a difference there. And so if the face is smaller because they've been bred that way, that's going to affect how the teeth fit in the mouth and how they fit together. So the other thing is even if it wasn't that they had, even if they weren't bred to have a funny looking head or a cute little tiny head, then you still can have certain strains, that are going to be predisposed towards dental disease. Now there are certain breeds that are actually more hardy and rarely get dental disease, like New Zealand whites. So they're very, very hardy rabbits, the pink-eyed whites. So, but yeah, I mean, any rabbit certainly can have the genetics predisposition for dental disease. You can have rabbits that have the genetics for great teeth, and they're on a crappy diet all their life, and they're on just pellets and fruit, and they never have any dental problems. But then you also can have rabbits that are on a good diet, but because of their genetics for bad teeth, they're just going to get dental issues. Definitely in rabbits, diet does weigh in a lot for them, whereas guinea pigs and chinchillas, which have very, very similar teeth, they don't seem to have as many of the issues related to diet. Usually, because, so many people feed just huge amounts of pellets to guinea pigs and chinchillas, and we just don't see quite the percentage of dental disease. Okay, so cause of dental disease, diet. And so you can kind of see here, huge amount of hay, small amount of greens, and just a little bit of pellets, maybe some treats, maybe some treats there. So, and I didn't make this up. This was from this UK organization that I thought it was a really good representation. And so some people will say, oh, my rabbit just doesn't eat the hay. He doesn't like hay. Usually it's because they are getting too much pellets, too much greens, too much junk food. Certainly it could be that they already have dental issues and their teeth are uncomfortable. So, but for the most part, if you're going to limit the pellets and limit the greens, they will eat hay. Now, if you have your rabbit that's eating mostly pellets and doesn't eat the hay much, and you go home and you cut its pellets to a quarter of what you're giving, they're going to get very sick if you suddenly decrease their pellets. You can add things to a rabbit's diet, like you can add more hay, and you can add greens if you need to, but when you're taking things away, you really do need to do it slowly because they can get a really upset tummy. So we recommend about 1/8 of a cup per day of pellets, and you can do 1/4 cup, 1/8 cup. It varies. This is a recommendation. These recommendations, I think, were promoted by the House Rabbit Society years and years and years ago, and basically we all have used those recommendations because they work and they really, seem to do a good job. And there are some rabbits who aren't even getting pellets or greens at all, and they're eating almost completely hay, and they do just fine. You got to think of the wild diet for these guys. They're going to be eating grass, dried grass, leaves, twigs. So that's what they're eating, and that's what they're getting their nutrition from. So the pellets are not necessarily, absolutely necessary, but certainly it's good because then also you you give them a little bit of pellets, they come running up, eat it right away, so you're able to judge their diet and their appetite and know that they're coming right up and eating right away, because if they don't come up and eat right away, you know something's wrong. So yeah, just a quality high fiber pellet. There's several good brands out there. Each one, usually we go for more of a Timothy-based pellet, and you just want to avoid anything that has seeds or puffs in it. And then the green leafy veggies, you can find the recommended veggies on any rabbit website. And green leafy is like romaine green leaf lettuce, and you can do some parsley. So just greens like that. You want to keep parsley and kale a little higher in calcium, so maybe just keep those to a minimum. Don't use a huge amount of it. Spinach also can cause some issues if it's fed in high amounts, so just to a minimum. So half to a cup of green leafy veggies per day, and then the treats should be like 1 or 2 little treats a day maximum, whatever it is you give, whether it's a little piece of carrot, a little piece of banana, a little cookie, things like that. So keep that to a minimum. And usually for hay, we say to feed a handful that's as large as the rabbit or larger than the rabbit, ideally twice a day. And they're not going to eat all of it, but they'll eat a lot of it, and so then they'll have a lot more to push around and play with, because we usually will recommend to put that in the litter box, and that really corrals the hay and entices the rabbits to use the litter box, and they'll kind of pee and poop on one side and eat from the other.
I wanna listen to